Erica, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
"24 participants. We'll give them a few more minutes.
It's hot.
I have not been outside like at all.
It's
it hot out
84. Humidity's high.
Yeah. Someone is hearing an echo. Does anyone else hear an echo? I am not hearing one. No?
I'm not.
So just a reminder to our panel is we're going to go through Project A and we're going to open it up for questions there. And since it's not quite as long, and then we'll go through Project B and we'll open up it to questions after Project B again. So we're just going to open it up for questions 2 times instead of having everyone wait to the end.
I'm pretty quick.
Yeah, and Nicole put the video together and it looked really cute, so.
And then questions at the end for anyone else who has questions about Brian's stuff or?
Yep, for everything, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. To respect everyone's time, we will get started. So again, this is the West A Street Improvement Project virtual public meeting. It goes from 6 to 7 p.m. And I'd like to welcome everyone. I'm Erica Hill. I do communications for Lincoln Transportation and Utilities. Joining us today is Thomas Schaefer, Assistant Director of Transportation. We also have Brian Kramer, Superintendent of Wastewater Collection, Chris Humphrey, Project Delivery Manager and Engineer, Daniil Vakel, who is also a Senior Engineer, Mark Rosso, Senior Engineer, Russ Gaspert, Engineer as well, Galen Masick. Sorry, Galen, I know I just said your last name wrong. I know you have a pronunciation. Senior Engineering Technician. Dylan, is Dylan here? Dylan might be here, Engineering Technician as well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the entire project, but of course it's broken up into 2 sections, Project A and Project B. After Project A, people will get a chance to ask some questions, and then we'll go through the rest of Project B, and then again, we'll open it up for questions there too. So we'll give a couple opportunities. So for the agenda, again, we're going to talk about Project A improvements and a bit of a recap. Then we'll do Project B's overview. We'll talk about a big wastewater project coming up. And then we'll talk about communication, how people can work with us, or if you have any follow-up questions after today's meeting, and then of course, answer questions again. Okay, so here is a timeline. And on this timeline, again, Project A is pretty much complete, but we do have a couple things to clean up, and Mark will talk about that. And then again, the next virtual public meeting is going to be in March or April of 2023. So we'll be back here and we'll have some more things to update you on how progress is going on Project B. And then again, we're hoping to estimate a completion date in winter 2023. So I'd like to now hand the presentation over to Mark Rosso, who will take us again through a recap of Project A. Mark.
All right. So I think everybody knows what Project A was. This goes from Southwest 23rd to Folsom. And let's go to the video real quick here.
Okay. Wait.
We thought everybody's been driving on it, so what are we going to say about this? So that's me waving. And we've been having some problems with people driving through the roundabout and not going around it. So I want to remind everybody to go around it if they would. We're coming up on the end of the asphalt section and Highway 77 with this video right here. And so coming into the area at Coddington, Russ's Market on the left. The message here is we've got a safer driving experience and this improves traffic flow. That's Nicole from our office holding up that sign. And then moving to the west, which is interesting because the drone can go no further than here because of the airport airspace. So the point of all of this, we've got a little bit of work. You can see the weeds are getting pretty tall. I think those will be mowed this week. And we've got some punch list items to do. So thank you for your patience and support, I guess, is the takeoff from this, and I'll hand it over to Danielle.
Awesome.
Okay, so
Actually, you want to go back to questions for that?
yeah, just real
Yeah.
quick, we'll do any questions. If anyone has any questions, please use the chat, the box in the chat. Let's see. Oh, we do have a question. It looks like we might have answered this, but I noticed the roundabout was finally mowed today for the first time since it opened. The ditches are overgrown with weeds far west at Southwest 36. Can we see some regular maintenance on the shoulders? How does that work? Do we know how that maintenance works?
Yeah, Erica, anything that's inside of the curbs is the city's to take care of. But from the curb back to the property owner is responsible for that. So there may be some people that don't realize that now that the construction is wrapped up, that should be given back to the property owners. Now, I'll double check and make sure that we did our part in leaving them in a good mowable surface before we did that.
Okay. And do we have any other questions? I'm not seeing any from the chat box. So, all right. Well, if you do have a question, feel free to just put it in the chat and we'll get to it as soon as we're done with this update. We'll move on.
Okay. So this is me. This is Project B. We've been talking about this for a couple of years as well. You can see the limits that go just past Southwest 36th on the west side, all the way to Southwest 23rd, pretty much right where we left off with Project A. So yeah, the next slide here is our project timeline again, and you can see we've highlighted the paving project schedule. So that will start in the spring of 2023, which is next year, and will continue through the winter. We'd love to have all of that paving completed before we get to winter, and then similar to this year, you know, I think our contractor came back this spring and finished some of the grading and some of the seeding of the grass areas. So it could be we'll be done with the paving by the end of 2023, and then back in 24 just to finish up some of the final grading and seeding of those areas. Just give a little more detail of the project. This map is kind of hard to read, but I did want to show that we still have this map, and it's on the city's project website, and you can click on it and zoom in and look at your property a little bit more detail. But just for orientation, again, you can see the Coddington intersection on the right side. It's gray because that's already completed. And then you can see the remainder of the project, you know, all the way out to Southwest 36th. And just to give you a little better view, I'll have you go to the next slide. We zoomed in a little bit, and this shows the gray area is the new pavement. The green, the bright green is the raised grass median that will be constructed. There's a thin yellow line on the north side that shows the sidewalk that we're building. And then the purple is wider because that is the 10-foot trail that will be constructed along the south side. You can see the roundabouts that we're constructing at Southwest 27th and Southwest 24th. And those will provide safer turning movements for those in and out of the neighborhood. During construction, we are proposing that the contractors start on the east end and work to the west as they, you know, kind of work their way down the project. And we'll be putting this project out for bid later this fall, and we'll have a contractor hired. So at our next public meeting in the spring that we can go into more detail regarding some of that construction phasing once we get kind of work things out with the contractor. So here's that next section. You know, we would have the contractor continue to work west, very similar. You can see the end intersections, the roundabouts constructed at Southwest 31st and at Southwest 27th. And we would ask, you know, generally that the contractor kind of phase those so that the neighborhood would still be allowed access to their homes and in and out of their neighborhoods. You can also see the box culvert that's constructed there in the middle that will help with some of the storm drainage that we're collecting within the new roadway. And then finally, the next slide kind of shows the west limits of our project. We show the roundabouts constructed at Southwest 31st and Southwest 36th. And then just west of there, the road tapers back to tie into the existing width as the road continues west to Southwest 40th. And, you know, for now, I mean, we haven't changed a lot for this project than what we've been showing you over the past year or two. So we're just anxious to get this bid out and constructed next year.
All right, thank you, Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about the utility work?
Oh, absolutely. Sorry. We have been working on the utility work to prepare for this project. So last March, we did start removing trees, and all of those trees that were within the city right of way were removed. We had Black Hills out there relocating their line so that was one less thing we had to worry about. And then LES has also been out there since March working on getting their overhead power line put underground. And it sounds like that's going well, and that should be completed here by the end of the year.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now we're going to bring in Brian, who is going to talk about the wastewater project. Brian?
Hello, everyone. This is Brian Kramer, the superintendent of collection at Wastewater, and I will be the city's project manager for the wastewater portion of the project. We are starting our project in October of this year. We got 3 different sections. As you can see on the screen here, we have a section 1, a section 2, and a section 3. Section 3 will be completed after section 1 and 2 are finished. The next slide will show you a map of the area, and you can see how we've divided it up. And I want to point your attention to the legend down in the lower left, where the dark blue color shows the sections, and the orange shows kind of the detour route through the neighborhoods. These two sections will both start construction in October. We have already bid our project and we have a contractor on board, and we've kind of worked out this this construction phasing with them, the three different sections. And they will both, like I said, both these sections will start in October with the same contractor, but two different construction crews. Section 1 on the right will lower the existing pipe and increase the size of it. And on section 2, it's installing a brand new pipe where there doesn't exist any to help accommodate the development on the north side of A Street. This is kind of a detail shot of section 1. It's starting at Southwest 23rd Street. It's right where the previous project quit. There's two different views on this one page. At the top of the page is called the plan view, and you're looking down onto A Street. And then at the bottom of the page is kind of a longitudinal cross section of the street, and we call that a profile view. And when you look at the profile view, kind of at the bottom of the page, you can see the new pipe, which is a solid parallel line, which is below the existing pipe, which is the dotted line, and that represents the old and the new and kind of shows the relationship to each other. As the new pipe is put in, the old pipe is either taken out and removed from the ground, or it is filled up with a flowable fill to fill up the volume of space there. The new line is not exactly where the old line is, so that's why some of it ends up staying behind. And the new line will be 24 inches in diameter. And then I'll talk about section 2. This section 2 starts at Timber Ridge Road and goes out to the end of the paving project, which is about Southwest 38th Street. This is installing brand new 10-inch pipe where there has never been pipe before. And like I said earlier, it is to accommodate the development that's going to occur on the north side of A Street. And once again, this should also start here in October of 22. So now moving on to the third section, which is in the middle. It's kind of awkwardly numbered, but that's the way it ended up. So this fills the gap between section 1 and 2. And you can see now that the traffic flow has changed slightly. With this section closed, the people way on the west end of West A, they do not have a way back through the neighborhood to get to the east, and they're going to have to go out to Southwest 40th and go around. But this will be carefully timed so that the people north of A by Southwest 25th Street can have a way out. And that intersection at Southwest 27th will be critical with timing in order to keep the traffic flow moving back and forth. And this is scheduled to start in March of 23 after the other two sections are complete. I'll go to the next slide here and kind of show you a plan and profile again of section 3. If you look down at the profile, you can see the new pipe there again, where it's lower than the old pipe. And there's a manhole going in exactly the same location, represented by all the solid lines. And this pipe is going to be upsized to an 18-inch and a 15-inch in size. And it will close the gap there between 27th and Timber Ridge Road. Some effects the wastewater project is going to have on your commute. So when each section is under construction, that piece of West A will be totally closed with no traffic moving back and forth. Part of the reason is because we have to open cut the pipeline, and it's about 20 feet deep. That means our trench at the top is about 40 feet wide, and it progresses into the south lane of A Street, which means we're right up to the center line of the road, and it'd be very difficult to keep any traffic moving in the one lane that's left over with the construction traffic plus access to the local residents. And speaking of those folks who have driveways out on the West A, we will we will be maintaining that access, except for a couple of periods of time during the project, maybe a 1 or 2 day period where we actually have to put the pipe in exactly where the driveway is. So access then will be an issue that we have to work out with the property owner. Also, you can see the bullet on here that the main detour for overall city traffic is either going to be pushed up the West O Street or down to Van Doren. We want to keep anybody who doesn't live in the area from driving through the neighborhoods to get across and around the construction. These aren't listed on the slide, but I'm going to talk about them anyway. Some of the advantages of this project to the neighborhood are that we're replacing a clay pipe that was put in the 1970s, and it will be replaced with modern plastic type materials. And this will remove that old cracking pipe out of the ground. It reduces the number of joints between the pipe by about 80%. It increases capacity of the pipeline, and this greatly lessens the chance of a backup occurring. And those residences that are already connected to the pipeline on A Street, they will get the benefit of having a new tap installed as part of the project. Additionally, here in the month of September, Wastewater and our project team will be contacting all of those property owners who have driveways onto West A or have connections to West A. We need a one-on-one communication with you to find out where your current service tap is, and also to discuss your driveway and how to give you access in and out of the construction zone. And this really only applies to those people who have driveways on the West A. Anybody else who backs up onto it with your backyard, your sewer goes off a different direction, and you should not be impacted by the project directly, other than the detours on the roadway network. And you'll find my contact information on the web page there at lincoln.ne.gov West A. Again, my name is Brian Kramer, and I'll be able to answer the wastewater questions for you. So please contact me. I think we're back to you, Erica.
All right, thanks, Brian. So just a reminder, communication moving forward. The next public meeting to update you on the progress is going to be in the spring of 2023. We will also, any of those same updates, we should have all the updates from today on the website right now. It should be live. And you can go to lincoln.ne.gov/West A, or if you forget that, just go to lincoln.ne.gov, and in the search bar, just type in West A and it will come up that way as well. Again, we will work to have smaller updates posted on the West A Neighborhood Association Facebook page. I feel like that's been working pretty well to get the word out, especially when detours come up, things like that. So we will continue to do that. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Just a reminder, this is such a big project for the city of Lincoln. Once completed, this new smooth pavement will really offer so much, a much more enjoyable commute, and just a lot of really great infrastructure that people can use as the city continues to grow, especially out in that area where a lot of stuff is happening right now. So now again, we will open it up to questions. And if you need to ask a question tomorrow or some other time, you can write down my email. It's erhill@lincoln.ne.gov. So now I will go to the chat, and I'm going to go just back up to the beginning, and we'll start from the beginning. So one person is asking, what is the total number of roundabouts upon project completion?
I believe there are 4 on the project B, and there were 2 in project A, so 6.
And then, okay, back to project A. Let's see. Okay, there's 3 different points. The first one is the ground leading to the storm inlets in the water retention field on the south side of West A and Southwest 17th are a mess with deep holes in front of the concrete. Is that something we should look into?
We'll look into that, Erica. Some of this is punch list work, cleaning and things like that, reseeding. There's a lot of reseeding to do.
Great. More sloping needs to be added from the bikeway into the retention field to make it easier to mow, particularly around the storm inlets.
That's the same answer. We can take a look at that number 3.
Okay. And then, yeah, number 3, many of the areas between the bikeway and curb need to be reseeded. So sounds like we know that. All right, sounds good. Another question is, what side of A Street is the wastewater pipe on?
It will be on the south side of the street.
Okay.
Be actually kind of almost behind the curb, underneath the sidewalk, probably.
Okay. Next question. What does it mean? What does it mean that people have to go around? Does that mean all traffic on the west end will be routed to Southwest 37th onto West Springfield Road, which is a dirt road? Is that what that means? They think that might not have the capacity to deal with that type of volume.
Right. I can answer that question during the wastewater project. So there's a period of time where on West A, you cannot get there from Southwest 36 or Timber Ridge Road. I think it's the section 1 and 2 map, a couple slides back.
This one?
Yes, that map. So the
Okay.
intention is not to send the people down towards Springfield, but that they make their way over there by, I guess what would be Southwest 31st, where they could come follow the orange path, they get it back up onto A Street, they go over to Southwest 27th, where it's closed again on A. Then they go south on 27th and take South Street over back to Connington Avenue. But the option would exist, I guess, for people to take the Springfield Road, but I wouldn't think that would be the preferable route for most people. We certainly will not purposely detour people that way.
Okay. Who will contact us for the 1 to 3 days where we cannot access our driveways?
That will be a wastewater construction management people, either myself, Brian Creamer, or possibly Darren Brown with wastewater.
Okay. Next question. When will the intersection of Southwest 24th Street and West A be closed for this project?
If you look at the same map here, it's really almost the very first place that we start. We're going to start at 23rd, work towards 24th, and continue. So I can see that being closed starting the middle of October.
Okay.
It actually will probably really the beginning. I think the contractor will come in and actually close the entire section 1 so that they could start laying pipe down and doing some pre-work. So really the 1st of October, that whole section will become closed.
Okay, next comment is, thanks to everyone, especially those impacted by this project. I understand it is difficult for many. Also the city, thank you for improving our neighborhood. Hey. And then another comment is, thank you to everyone involved. When people do pay attention, the roundabout on Connington and West A does expedite the traffic through that area. Great job. Great. Yay. That's exciting. Okay. So does anyone have any more questions? We are at the end of all the questions that I have. Let me check my email real quick, just to make sure I don't have any more. Okay, no more questions that I'm seeing. So Again, let us know if, oh, let's see. One more question. I would like to repeat the concern for mowing. The ditches are full of tall weeds. Since the trees were removed, the ditches have not been mowed. So we'll need to look at that. Oh, another person. During this road construction, are the ditches going to be mowed? For Project B, it sounds like.
During the road construction, I guess it's hard to say. We do ask the contractor to, to take care of the, of the construction area. But like Thomas had said, if there's no actual construction going on, it might be the responsibility of that property owner.
Okay. What will the mail carriers do during the closed time to drop off the mail?
That's a really good question. I'm making note of that one because I don't have an answer for you right now.
So we can get that answer, and then I can post it on the West A Facebook page once we get that.
Yeah, I know that they don't like, they won't enter a section of road that's closed. They don't want to enter a traffic or a construction area, whether they choose to set up a remote location or if everything you must go to the post office to get that picked up. But yeah, that's a great question. And, maybe it changes depending on the type of project. That's maybe why we're all a little dumbfounded as to what that answer is specifically for this one. So I think that's great to post that to the Facebook page.
Okay, and then it looks like we need to find out about garbage pickup too. How do we handle that one? So
sure. Sometimes in the past we've had the contractor put in a community dumpster that they could then put the trash in, and it just centralizes it. It makes it easier to pick up and remove at a later date.
okay.
But it's another good question that we need to work those details out.
Okay. And then last question, when will LES take down the old poles?
I actually had a conversation with LES about that today. As they're, finishing their work, they were planning to take down the poles that don't have lights because they obviously want to keep the street lit as long as possible. Currently, there is some other utility, Windstream is also using those poles for their utility. And until Windstream moves those lines to also be underground, LES can't take the poles down. So it seems that as long as you see wires hanging, those are Windstreams, and they'll the poles will be up. And then also, as long as the pole has a street light, it will be up at least until springtime.
And then just a reminder, not everyone has the same garbage service around that area. So yes, we would need to check with maybe several garbage businesses or come up with some sort of plan for garbage. Sounds like. Okay. Yes. Will A Street still be lit?
You mean after Project B is complete? Absolutely. I mean, it's the intent to leave the street lights at intersections at least until we can get the new street lights installed. And then they would take down those other ones. So, I mean, it's a matter of working around constructing the intersection and leaving what we can in place and placing new ones out at the same time.
Okay. Any last questions? All right, I think we're good. Okay, once we get those answers, we'll post them on the neighborhood Facebook page. Hopefully that will be maybe early next week, I'm guessing. And we want everyone to have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. Bye, everyone.